Welcome back. This is the start of day 3 of our trip from Tarpon Springs to St. Augustine, Florida. And in the first video, we made it from Tarpon Springs to Fort Myers. The second video that you saw, we went from Fort Myers to the end of Lake Okeechobee. This video is going to be day 3, where we make it at the end of Lake Okeechobee to all the way to Titusville, Florida. I want to recap a few things that happened in the trip so far. What I didn't show in day 1 was how much water was actually getting to the bilge area near the engines. It was about 100 gallons of water. The bilge pumps were working. On my display, I could see the bilge pumps coming on and off, and that was the first indication that you have a problem. You should slow it down and inspect it. Stop the boat and inspect it. So we inspected it, realized the outer edge of the bilge of the deck, it's not sealed properly, and that's one of the maintenance items I have to do to the boat to fix it. So when water's splashing up all over the boat in the back, it's kind of leaking into the bilge area back there. So when you have big waves blowing water into the back deck, you're gonna have gallons and gallons of water rolling in. So we didn't hit anything or anything like that. So that wasn't the problem. Beat the storm. That was a great thing. Bobbing and weaving. I only had 4 hours of sleep that first night, about 4 or 5 hours before we made it day 2. We were trying to just book it all the way to St. Augustine very quickly, just to get through the entire trip, to bring it back to St. Augustine. Day 2, when we made it through the lock system, I looking back now, I should have just stopped at Roland's for the night at the beginning of Lake Okeechobee, and that pushed those 3 hours to the end of Lake Okeechobee, because I only slept 2.5 hours. And what you don't see from day 2 was the anchor did slip half the night, so we had to reset the anchor. And it was actually getting windier and windier out there. And there's a force factor on the boat. With no wind, if you're just dealing with current, your anchor most likely can handle it. But when gushes come up to 30 knots, the force factor on your boat is multiplied. So it's like exponential force on the boat pulling that anchor. And my boat is about 20,000 pounds. So if you can imagine, 20,000 pounds and every 10 knots of wind, it's a force factor of a couple. Don't know the exact amount, but you get the point. In high winds, you're gonna pull your anchor loose. So I only had about 2 hours of sleep that night. So there's not a lot of video of me actually narrating in day 3. So that's why I want to do the introduction to day 3. But But it was definitely a fun trip so far. So without further ado, here's day 3. We're currently waiting for the last lock. This is Port Lucie lock. It goes down 14, 15 feet, something crazy. So we got some freshwater boats over here to store. And yeah, on the other side of this, we'll 24 miles to the intercoastal, and then we'll be at Fort Pierce 200 miles later, hopefully tomorrow, St. Augustine. Coming up on some bridge over here near Fort Pierce. You can't really see that. We're in the ICW. There's Port St. Lucie. So we're getting there. to Port St. Lucie. Yep. Going under a bridge. Okay guys, this is an example of don't follow the charts if you don't know in an area. Like it's telling me to whip around. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, but it's telling me to cut it, and it said shallow water. But I'm following the dredged area, and then instead of following the line on the Navionics. So that's just a prime example of if when in doubt, you go to the dredged area. That white mark is the dredged area. You stay there. As you can see, there's a you can't really see there's a marker out there, and then I'm going that way out to the Port St. Lucie Inlet, and then off to off north. So to the next mission. Port St. Lucie is what we're passing. And Fort Pierce is dead ahead. There's a big bridge ahead. I'll show it to you when we get to it. But make a good track. Okay, so we're at day 3. We already fueled up at Fort Pierce. We're basically, I don't know, 20-30 miles north now, I would say. This is Vero Beach. There's 2 bridges in Vero Beach that we're going to go under, and there's a power plant. So when I get closer, I'll get another shot of this. We're coming up on one of the Vero Beach bridges right now. Got my other iPad out. Okay, just kick back with your feet. Drive with one hand. Engines are purring. Good track. Going straight for the middle. I'm almost home. What, 150 miles to go? About, I would say. It's, you can see that flag. It's gale force winds allegedly out here. Well, I wouldn't say here. I would say out in the Atlantic. There's no way I'm going into the Atlantic Ocean. This trip, I don't want 10-foot seas. I want to come back home. Have a beer and relax. Kind of cool. Everybody's usually driving on top of it. I'm never really in the water. boater over there. Glad to go. With white caps, I don't know what that guy was thinking. It's kind of cold out here. Manatee zone, 30 miles per hour. I'm only going 7 knots. Yeah, I don't have to worry about manatees. That's kind of cool. There goes the bridge. 17th Street Bridge. Okay, so that's what that was. The 17th Street Bridge in Vero Beach. Coming up on another bridge up here. That's the power plant. Who's driving the boat? Who's driving the boat? Alright, so this is the second bridge. I'm on marker 140, or red marker 140. Cool. There's a sailboat coming out of there. I don't know what he's doing. But I'm coming in there. I'm coming through it. Maybe he's just trying to anchor. I don't know. That was weird. He came out and then went back in. I don't know what he's doing. Dragging his dinghy. Definitely have to have avionics. Not just one iPad, but 2 iPads. Binoculars, have to have binoculars. Merrill Barber. State Road 60. Mile 9,518. Jesus. 1 mile. That's really cool. Really windy though. And a nice marina over there. Sailboats. Putting up the back here, he's freaking freezing. Yeah. Well, cool. Couple more hours. We'll be there. Alright guys, an awesome feature on the boat to have. Autopilot with remote control. This thing is awesome. So there you go. And I'm just using my hand. And change it a few degrees. And watch the boat turn. If you own one of these things, you have to have an autopilot, people. This thing is awesome. So cool, people. Another sunset on day 3 and another bridge. I don't know what bridge that is though.
Feels like day 5.
It feels like day 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Day 4 is going to be the day we get back to St Augustine. maps this.
It's a little hard to write, bro. Yeah, just hold that. Don't bring your front end right around. Oh, no more. Yeah.
That
Hold
one.
that. Now just straighten out. The wind's gonna blow you to the right.
That's crazy wind, man. Look at my flag going.
Oh, it's insane.
I'm only going 8 knots, almost.
Would be doing like 10, 11 if it wasn't for the wind.
Oh, there's something over there.
We're hunkered down in here. Yeah, we'd be freezing without the top.
It should say what bridge it is when we get up to it. So this is what gale force winds look like. I'm just happy no one's on the ICW right now, practically.
That's why
They-
people don't do it during the winter.
They saw the marine warnings and was like, I'm staying the hell off the intercoastal today. Uh,
62 feet.
State Road 510, mile 943. Always cool to look at a bridge. And there's more miles, more miles. Oh, we got the enclosure up. Awesome. So we're in the intercoastal. You can see my flag going. I mean, it is gale force winds out there. So this is what it looks like for small craft advisory, gale force winds in effect, insane weather. But we got to get there. So we're trucking along. So, got my trusty avionics with me. So, sun's a setting, day 3. Whoa. The waves maybe 2 to 4 feet. On the hunt for crab pods, make sure we don't hit them. Should be a little bit more difficult at night to do, but we'd be able to do it. Now we get back to St. Augustine. Oh, you see? We got a wave action going on. I decided not to use my autopilot for the rest of the night, so I have to dodge crab pods. This thing takes a couple seconds to respond. Well, talk to you soon. We're continuing trucking along at night. As you can see, good navigation lights up ahead. Technically don't have to have avionics, but if you do, then it's a hell of a good thing. at this point in the trip, we're basically south of Titusville, Florida at night. We're trying to get to Titusville, an anchorage spot around midnight in Titusville. And if I would have done this trip again, I would have definitely done this part of the trip through Port Canaveral during the day because you can't see in the dark, but the big space shuttle buildings, it was definitely a sight to see at night. It's all lit up out there for that big building where the Saturn V rocket was actually there. So we were pretty exhausted at this point. I mean, 4 hours of sleep the first day, 2 hours sleep because of the wave action in Lake Okeechobee. We were beat, and we actually were able to anchor out just fine in Titusville, and it was past Port Canaveral, so it was at the edge of Titusville where a couple marinas were at, and we saw a few good anchor spots. So yeah, this is the end of day 4. I didn't do any narration because I was beat. At the end of this video, I didn't do any recap, no beers, no nothing. We anchored out, made sure it was set, and we went straight to bed at the end of day 3. We were tired.